Hey fellas, this is Dino Boyo here, and we just received the first initial trailer for the forthcoming movie Jurassic World Rebirth, set to be released on July 2nd, 2025. Directed this time by filmmaker Gareth Edwards, responsible for films such as Godzilla, Rogue One, and The Creator, the movie is expected to deliver excitement and suspense, but does the trailer really reflect that? Well, let's dig in and see what we can uncover. We are first introduced to a museum where we meet one of the three primary characters, paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, overseeing the assembly of a T-Rex display, with a backdrop banner reading, "When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth," nodding back to the original Jurassic Park film. Following this, we are introduced to our second main character, covert operative Zora Bennett, portrayed by Scarlett Johansson, as Loomis is introduced to her by Martin Krebs, played by Rupert Friend, a representative working for Parkogenics. Martin aims to enlist Loomis alongside Zora and her team leader, Duncan Kincaid, played by Mashallah Ali, for a confidential mission to find the three largest creatures in the tropics and obtain their DNA, which holds the secret to a miracle drug capable of saving human lives. According to the synopsis that was released for the film, the movie takes place 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, in which during this time the dinosaurs that roamed free after the film's end have not adapted well to the modern planet's habitats, resulting in their numbers dwindling, with only a few being found in remote tropical regions with conditions resembling their original prehistoric environments. One of these recognised areas is an island formerly housing the original Jurassic Park's research facility, where dinosaurs have been residing on it for approximately 50 years at this point. We are then shown glimpses of the island in our first dinosaur, Titanosaurus. Although there are evident anatomical inaccuracies in the design, such as the incorporation of a whip-like tail, which is characteristic only of Diplodocus, this design is nevertheless appealing. The yellow and grey colour scheme combined with the white stripes towards the end of the body effectively distinguishes it from many depictions of sauropods in this franchise, which are often portrayed as boring and unremarkable. I even like the tiny skin sails on the neck and back. They add a lot of personality to the creature, and I do like it when artists decide to add possible soft tissue structures, as they make these animals feel a bit more real, even if it is inaccurate. Revisiting our initial views of the island, the footage and Kincaid's comments to Krebs make it evident that humans haven't inhabited the island for a long time, which is clear from the dilapidated and almost collapsing state of everything, very Jurassic Park look. However, what captures my attention is the laboratory's architecture. Instead of featuring the industrial safari design typical of the Hammond films, it boasts the cold corporate aesthetic associated with the World films. This suggests to me that the lab might have been abandoned later than expected, and that genetic experiments there might have continued even after InGen was taken over by the Masrani Global Corporation in 1997. The fact that these activities potentially persisted until the events of Jurassic World suggests there may have been more happening here than it seems. Okay, theory time. Although every Jurassic World film has altered the course of the series continuously, I suspect that the global reduction in dinosaurs involves more than their inability to adapt to the current climate. It seems more probable that human involvement, particularly from companies like Parkogenics, may have contributed to their decline all around the world. My idea is that either of these two companies did something to affect these dinosaurs, whether they tampered with their sources of food, hunted them down, or hindered their ability to reproduce asexually in order to greatly reduce their populations. Now, why would they want to do that? Well, I think it has to do with control, as technically, most of the dinosaurs cloned would still be, for the most part, property of InGen. After the destruction of Jurassic World, it's clear that even if InGen survived in some form or another that resulted in it being acquired by or becoming Parkogenics, it's clear that they wouldn't want to build another park. The result of that would cause controversy that would shatter the ceiling. So it's more than likely that they would move to other sources of income, like the pharmaceutical industry, using their resources in genetics to help make better treatments for the public in order to exploit them for profit. As a result, they could see the free-roaming dinosaurs as a threat to their future profit avenue, as with the dinosaurs now living all over the world, any other organisation could also possibly discover life-saving cures through their genetics. So by rapidly decreasing the population of dinosaurs, they could make it easier for them to have sole ownership of the resource for a possible cure, therefore increasing their profits. Even if this doesn't turn out to be true, I'm hoping there is more to the disappearance of the dinosaurs than just their inability to adapt to the current climate, as a lot of similar climates found today were present during the Mesozoic. I'd also personally find it lazy for them to do it, especially after doing such a dramatic status quo shift, only for them to just start from scratch again. Anyway, back to the trailer. We see additional views of the research lab showing a room with a two-headed raptor, probably InGen's failed attempt to clone it successfully, resulting in polycephaly. The raptor's design appears to resemble those from Jurassic Park: The Lost World, indicating that it may have been created before the events of that film. Although I don't have much to say about this raptor since it uses a previously established design, I appreciate the inclusion of unusual mutations like this one. It reminds me of the trials and errors InGen went through to create these creatures, similar to what we saw in the research lab in Jurassic Park 3. Later in the trailer, it was mentioned that the dinosaurs on this island were dangerous for the park, suggesting that even if the animals in the trailer aren't as heavily mutated as the raptor or the other thing we'll discuss later in this video, it's apparent that something went wrong with these animals during the incubation phase, possibly making them more aggressive and territorial than usual. Hopefully one of these mutants is alive and chases our protagonists in the movie, as that would be both terrifying and thrilling to watch. We then see Loomis and Zora, along with the rest of their team, planning and starting their ascent of a mountain face towards an unidentified ancient temple. Upon entering the temple, Loomis extracts DNA from an egg belonging to one of the three largest creatures on the island, which is revealed to be a Quetzalcoatlus. The creature then attacks Loomis and Zora, resulting in Loomis being thrown out of the temple while Zora attempts to save him. While I appreciate the creature's coloration and the inclusion of pycnofibers, I find the overall design of the Quetzalcoatlus to be just okay, with the exception of the crest. Of course, I don't like it. It looks awful. It also doesn't help that the creature had a pretty well executed design in its debut in Dominion, although it was somewhat oversized in that film, which this film seems to have rectified. Furthermore, the design resembles a Hatzegopteryx more closely, with its larger, broader skull compared to the narrower, more elongated skull of Quetzalcoatlus. This leads me to believe that the creature was likely intended to be a Hatzegopteryx, but was switched to Quetzalcoatlus at the last minute due to the latter's greater popularity. The trailer transitions to the group on a pier at night with a few new characters, including Rulo Delgado, portrayed by Manuel Garcia Rufo, his oldest daughter portrayed by Luna Blade, his son portrayed by David Lacono, and his youngest daughter portrayed by Audrina Miranda. As summarised in the synopsis, they are a civilian family whose boating journey was interrupted by an attack from wandering aquatic dinosaurs, leaving them stranded on an island where they are discovered by the team, leading to both teaming up to escape the island and its inhabitants. In one moment, we see Delgado's son speaking with Loomis, both of whom notice something off-screen and hope it isn't raptors. This is shortly followed by a scene showcasing the feet of a raptor walking down what appears to be toilet cubicles, likely hunting one of the main characters. It is then revealed what type of creature it is, as Kincaid lights a flare to distract it, and it's...
What the hell is even that?
The Distortus Rex, also referred to as the D-Rex in other material, is a variant of Tyrannosaurus Rex that seemingly possesses a pair of hind legs, two large elongated pole-like arms, two smaller T-Rex-like arms, hunched back, and a large domed forehead. According to Gareth Edwards, the design of the mutant was inspired by a combination of creatures including the T-Rex, the Rancor from Star Wars, and the Xenomorph from Alien. It also bears some resemblance to other sci-fi creatures such as the future predator from Primeval, though that might be due to the increasingly familiar base design being recycled in recent creature features. While I am pleased that we are exploring this concept instead of hybrids, I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, it looks cool. On the other, it seems like the design doesn't quite fit within this franchise. It feels less like a terrifying mutant and more like a bizarre sci-fi creature. I believe the design would have been more effective had it leaned further into body horror, incorporating more pronounced and unsettling deformities to emphasize its nature as a tragic product of genetic tampering. While I believe the design doesn't go far enough, I do hope that the D-Rex is depicted as a tragic creature rather than just another monstrous antagonist. Unlike hybrids, which were genetically engineered as weapons for the most part, the D-Rex was likely created by accident and maybe suffering from its deformities, driving it to madness. Framing it as a creature in pain rather than a villain could offer a more nuanced and emotionally compelling story. Otherwise, what makes it any different from the other generic genetic monsters we've seen in this franchise? We are then shown a series of scenes that reveal more of the character's actions, offer another glimpse of the D-Rex, and deliver the first official confirmation that both the Dilophosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex will appear in the film. One particularly striking moment involves the T-Rex in what looks like a river hunt, as Delgado's son struggles to swim away while the massive predator closes in. Many fans have pointed out the clear resemblance to the river raft sequence from Michael Crichton's original novel, a sequence that was originally planned for the first Jurassic Park film but was unfortunately cut. In the novel, during the chapter Tyrannosaurus, Dr. Grant and the Murphy children are swept over a waterfall while rafting down Isla Nublar's river, landing directly in Rexy's territory and triggering a harrowing chase. While the franchise has attempted to adapt elements of this scene before, such as the waterfall moment in Jurassic Park: The Lost World, none have quite captured the intense anxiety and suspense of the original book. Watching Grant and the children narrowly evade a relentless predator was one of the novel's most unforgettable sequences, so here's hoping this film finally does that iconic moment justice, though based on what we've seen so far, it does look promising. Speaking of boats, the trailer concludes with the team and family aboard a yacht by the island shore as they frantically attempt to endure the attack of a Mosasaurus, along with the unexpected aid from 3 Spinosauruses. Starting with the Mosasaurus, of all the creature designs showcased in this trailer, this particular one is my favourite. Nearly every element of this creature's design is executed with impressive precision, from the caudal fin on the tail and the pterygoid teeth to the counter-shading effect on the skin and the absence of crocodile-like osteoderms, instead featuring smooth skin in line with modern Mosasaur interpretations. If not for the evident skin stretching around the skull, it would absolutely rank among my top 10 favourite designs in the entire franchise, yet I still find it absolutely impressive. Now, let's move on to the highlight of this trailer, Spinosaurus, and all I've got to say is,
we were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
This doesn't mean I dislike it overall. The bulkier body, the extended flatter sail on its back, and the tail paddle are all splendid. However, the main issue lies in the skull design, which closely resembles that of the Baryonyx from Fallen Kingdom. Combined with a strangely bulky short neck, it creates an awkward and unappealing front end for an otherwise beautifully crafted body. In summary, while I still have a strong appreciation for the design, I just wish the skull's anatomy matched the excellence of the rest of the creature's body. So, during the admittedly way too long time it took me to finish making this video, the second official trailer for Jurassic World was released and it revealed quite a bit more of what we can expect to see when the movie comes out. While much of what's shown aligns with points I've already discussed, there are definitely some interesting new elements worth diving into. So in this section of the video, I'll try to break down the fresh material from the trailer and share my thoughts on how it adds to or possibly changes my overall impressions of the film so far. We are first given a glimpse of what appears to be a flashback to the laboratory, where a group of scientists initiate an emergency lockdown after one of them notices something has gone wrong on a monitor, most likely the escape of the D-Rex. Chaos erupts as alarms blare and scientists inside the lab enclosure scramble to evacuate. Among them, one lags just a few steps behind, which in true Edwards fashion proves fatal as the blast door slams shut, trapping him inside. On the other side of the thick glass, a fellow scientist, likely a colleague or close friend, stands frozen as he bangs on the door, begging her to open it, while she can only apologise, knowing there is nothing she can do as that would lead to the mutant's escape. A chilling silence follows, broken only by the creature as it reaches out with its enormous hands to seize its trapped victim, leaving no doubt about his fate. Further information from Empire magazine confirms that these flashback scenes will open the movie and are set approximately 17 years before the main events. Since the film is set around 2027, this lines up with my earlier theory based on the first trailer that the lab remained operational until around 2010 during the Masrani era. That said, it's still unclear whether the D-Rex was created during that time or earlier. Speaking of which, based on what I've seen of the D-Rex in this trailer and other officially released material, I'm starting to lean towards not being a huge fan of its design. Yes, it definitely looks cool, but personally, I don't think it feels like it belongs in the franchise, and that's saying something considering this series has done some pretty insane things before. Visually, the creature just doesn't convincingly come across as a mutated T-Rex. Aside from the colour scheme and the small secondary arms, it feels too heavily inspired by the Rancor and Alien creature designs. The result is a creature that looks overly clean and functional, rather than the tragic deformed mutant the film seems to be aiming for. Hopefully though, I am wrong about this when the movie comes out. We then get extended versions of several scenes previously shown, such as Martin Krebs briefing the extraction crew on the yacht, warning them about the number and nature of the dinosaurs still inhabiting the island, and the river raft hunt showcasing the T-Rex swimming underneath the inflatable raft, which, to be frank, looks absolutely terrifying. However, one of the more intriguing changes comes with the return of the Titanosaur sequence, as there appear to have been some refinements to the dinosaur models since the last trailer. What is presumed to be the male Titanosaurus now features a smaller, less pronounced sail, with the species overall having been updated with a thicker neck, a more accurate skull shape, and more prominent striping around the neck and torso. While I still like the previous design, I am still pleasantly surprised to see that the Titanosaur model has received some thoughtful refinements, as it manages to be more accurate to what the group was like anatomically while still maintaining the stylization of the Jurassic franchise, similar to what was done in the DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Following that, the trailer shows more extended sequences from the temple fight scene featuring the Quetzalcoatlus, as well as more of the group's encounter with the D-Rex. This segment also gives us our first look at Dolores, a juvenile Aquilops who serves as the pet of the shipwrecked Delgado family. I really like the design for Aquilops. While the creators have clearly taken some creative liberties, such as the large expressive eyes and rounded face likely intended to appeal to fans of characters like Grogu, there's still a surprising degree of anatomical accuracy. Details like the bony core on the beak helps ground the design, making it feel far more believable than some of the exaggerated pet dinos we've seen in the franchise's past. Returning to the trailer, we see the expedition team and the Delgado family discover a Qualtech compound, which was once a convenience store and electric vehicle charging station for employees at the research facility. As they explore the abandoned site, they quickly learn that the island isn't just crawling with dinosaurs, for there be dragons here too. Well, technically failed Velociraptor clones with possible pterosaur DNA spliced in, but let's be honest, at this point they're basically dragons. They even look like the prehistoric dragon from Dragon's World. The Mutadon, as they are shown in the trailer, are Velociraptor specimens which were created through changing their DNA, resulting in their draconic-like forms. It's also confirmed that these mutants will likely serve as the primary form of raptor in the film, as it's revealed that the two-headed raptor seen in the previous trailer was being mutated into one of these creatures by InGen themselves, as shown on the containment chamber. Personally, unlike the D-Rex, which I'm still on the fence about, I actually kind of like these creatures. While they do look a bit too normal for something billed as a mutant, they still feel more grounded within the film's universe. After all, we've discovered real-life dinosaur specimens with membrane-like wings, so the concept isn't entirely far-fetched. On top of that, it seems the Mutadons may have been deliberately created by InGen, given that its containment chamber is clearly labelled in the trailer, suggesting it wasn't just a random mutation, rather a controlled experiment with the intent of making it that way. Wait, with the possibility that these mutants possess possible pterosaur DNA due to the pterosaur-like wings, could these have been another prototype by InGen in creating hybrids? Regardless, we then get another extended sequence from the Mosasaur boat scene where it is implied that it is one of the 3 targets for the miracle drug, explaining why the team appears to be actively pursuing it, with Zora seen lining up a shot with a syringe gun as an attempt to try and extract the animal's DNA. Given that Hatzegopteryx and Mosasaurus are confirmed as 2 of the 3 targets for the miracle drug, what could be the 3rd target? My money's on either Tyrannosaurus due to its central role in the franchise and it probably being the largest land predator on the island, or the Titanosaurus due to them being the largest animals on the island. So that's basically all there is for me to say regarding both trailers. Personally, I think the film looks really promising, as based on what we have seen, it seems to have a great blend of action, tension, and horror similar to the Park trilogy, with a lot of prehistoric creatures that, while still not looking perfect in my opinion, are certainly a massive upgrade in terms of visual appeal. Whether the film treats any of these creatures or any of its human characters with any level of nuance, only time will tell, though the fact that the original screenwriter for Jurassic Park and The Lost World, David Coep, is back does leave me with some form of optimism. But what do you think of both trailers? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any of my future videos. Regardless, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in another time. Goodbye.